Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Welcome to Right and Wrong. This is the show where we try to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. I'm your host, Brian Ruka, and with me as always over there is my man and yours, producer Juice. He is known out there on the World Wide Web as the Truth Box because he loves to speak the truth all day, every day. My man, Truth Box, what is going on tonight, brother?
What's up, man? Thanks for letting me sit in with you tonight. Happy Juneteenth.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. See, we work on this holiday, so we're here. We're doing our thing. Just Juneteenthing it up, man. Celebrating our country.
We did actually do one the other week too. Looks like we're taking weeks off because they're just pulling us down.
Yeah. Thank you. Perfect way to let the audience know that if you didn't catch it right away, the censor people from YouTube are out there pulling episodes down from us. So our entire episode last week was removed from YouTube because the big tech censorship is after the little guy over here. I couldn't believe it.
Jankowitz on us.
Yes, a spoonful of sugar. Insane. And it was all...
Careful what you say there. That would have got us shut down.
We do need to be careful. I'm going to read to you guys what the email said that I got from YouTube. It said, "Hi, Brian Ruka. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our medical information policy. We've removed the content from YouTube," and they took our whole episode down. It went on to say,
it was funny one too.
It was a great episode. I loved it. I thought we had a blast. I thought we did a good job with it. We were all over the doctor that shall not be named, or we'll get flagged again.
The Bears for Breeders bit that I did.
Man, it was awesome. So it said content. What is medical misinformation policy? It says content that possesses a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines that are approved and confirmed to be safe and effective by local health authorities in the World Health Organization isn't allowed on YouTube. So, listen up, you sheep.
We were basically
question the science, or question the science, and you're out of the public square. I'm sorry. We were basically saying what?
Just like playing clips from a congressional hearing or whatever it was.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, we were doing do 2 masks if you don't want 3 masks. That doesn't sound like Fauci, but you got it.
That was Saul Rosenberg.
That's all my shoes and my glasses.
But it's nuts. It's crazy. Like you said, we played clips from the congressional hearing. And did we have a little bit of fun? Sure. Like we were clearly riffing on the guy too, in doing a bit. Like,
I think it's because he's the science. Because he's the science. Remember,
he is literally.
So you can't make fun of him. Yeah,
I guess he's off limits. Like all the stuff we say on this show, and that's the one that fully gets us removed and taken off. Like it's mind-boggling. 4 years later. And they're still going after people over this.
Yeah, and there was a link here to learn more, and it brought you to the CDC site, and it was updated as of like April 2024, saying like, oh, if you're over 6 months, get boosters.
Oh,
like they're still doing that. Oh, we're gonna get this taken down too.
No, you just said what it said on the thing. We didn't.
Oh yeah, that's what the site said.
Share what we think. Yeah,
just following the science.
It's just wild to me. And the thing, we were obviously talking about it. I was fired up, man. I was tweeting at everybody famous that I know that we try to follow, hoping they would retweet it. But I'm like, dude, I would understand if, whatever, the Daily Wire gets flagged, Dan Bongino gets flagged for stuff, Crowder, like all these people that are, prominent conservative minds and commentators out there with huge followings. It's one thing going after those people, but we have, 100 people like subscribe to the YouTube page or whatever. And I think I'm upping that a little bit to try to feel better about it.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
might
come
be
on.
throttling the algorithm behind, so
They
we never take
probably
off.
are. It probably is. Like, it's like you really have to silence us, like a couple of guys having fun doing this, trying to get a small percentage of the audience. Like
Small
you're gonna
flock of
just,
sheep, like
yeah, like mind-boggling. I can't believe it. So, with that being said, please follow us and subscribe to our Rumble page, which we do have. I haven't been great about posting it to there always, but I'm all up to date now. It's up there. We're gonna share like some of our smaller clips on there as well, but the Right and Wrong podcast page on Rumble. And this time I really will put the link in the comments on this one for you
and
guys.
like I was talking to my wife about it. She's like, "What's that?" You know what I mean? You don't just click the link. It's just another video sharing site that
Yeah,
has free
it's
speech, a little more,
exactly.
free speech centric. And you
It's
don't
an
need an
alternative
account.
to
Or she's like,
YouTube.
"Do I need an ID, an account?" No, just go and click it and watch it.
Exactly.
So
And you'll be
don't
able
be
to see it over
afraid
there.
of that.
Yeah. And it's like no money, no nothing like that. Just we won't get taken down over there, basically. So all right. With all that being said, now that you guys are up to speed and we got the vent out of it, let's welcome in our good friend Mr. Ric Flair, because guess what, baby? It's showtime, baby. Woo!
Showtime!
Guess what, baby? It's baby
One too
time.
many babies, baby. What's that? Austin Powers, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning back in. We didn't leave you hanging. We were censored, which is not fun. So right off the bat today, I want to talk about a story that was shared with us. It was in our group text that we like to mention from time to time. And it's an article from Boston.com that we're getting this information from. So the headline of it was Massachusetts launches a campaign against anti-abortion clinics. And the entire article, again, it's on Boston.com. It is all about the evil, big, bad boogeyman that pregnancy resource centers. Like we did that bit a while back on my aunt Teresa Larkin, who works at one of these. She's done interviews about it. We shared clips of an interview she was doing working at a facility like this. And they're places that are there to help women that feel like they have no other choice but to get an abortion. And what is wrong with that? Why is that framed as this crazy bad place trying to manipulate women into having unwanted pregnancies and this, that, and the other thing? And it boggles my mind that that's coming from the like that comes from the media, that comes from the government, that comes from all the people that have control and power, and they're going to spread this misinformation about an organization that's there to help people, that's there to try to prevent the murder of babies in their mother's womb. Is that are they really the bad people here? Are they the bad guys in this story? And if you read the Boston.com article, yes, they are. And it's just absolutely absurd. So I'm going to kind of grab some pieces from it and share with you guys. But it says the governor's office launched a public education campaign warning about the dangers and potential harm. And these are my quotes that I'm putting, my air quotes I'm putting in there. The dangers and potential harm of crisis pregnancy centers. can the euphemisms be any more like obvious here? The dangers and potential harm from going to a place that's going to possibly help you reconsider literally killing the living baby inside your stomach. Like, seriously? It says there was a joint effort between the Department of Public Health and the Reproductive Equity Now Foundation, and is funded by a $1 million investment by the state legislature. So once again, that's $1 million going towards abortion in this state from your taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, what does it mean when it says from the legislature?
They're bookmarking, they're checking it off. Here's $1 million we're going to put towards this campaign, this effort to get people to think of
Help
pregnancy
centers
resource
bad,
centers as a
abortion's
bad
good.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Why? Like, I don't want my tax dollars going to that. Would you be happy with that, my friend?
No, what they should do is do a side by side of the facts. Here's what's offered at Planned Parenthood. Here's what's offered at the other one. Like, list out that, yeah, they're going to help you after the fact. They want you to, the main play is get you to see that this is a baby here and now, and then
Exactly.
help you move on with this. Provide diapers, provide support. Like it's like the biggest charity in the world is the Catholic Church.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, I just hate how they flip the script, man, and just the wordplay that's involved there. Like, even honestly, before I started paying more attention to all this stuff, like just the idea that a place called Planned Parenthood is the one that's like the leading abortionist, like, out there. I always was like, oh, the Planned Parenthood, they must be the people like helping families, like, right? Like helping the babies. I used to
such a misleading word. It's like planned. It's like, oh, this wasn't planned. We're only doing the plan. Like, we'll help you plan by getting rid of this unplanned one.
Exactly.
Versus like you just, when you don't really think about it growing up, you're like, oh, that must be a good thing.
Yeah. You're like, oh, they're gonna help them get ready for the baby that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Like
no.
Yeah.
No, it's going to do the exact opposite of that. So in the article too, like there was, like I said, you got to take a look at it and read it. It's just, my mind was spinning and I just couldn't stop like throwing my hands up every paragraph. But towards the end of it, they bring in, someone who's they're going to get a soundbite, not a soundbite, sorry, a quote from an expert in there. And the one they went with here is Mr. Robbie Goldstein, and he is the commissioner of the Department of Public Health in Massachusetts here. And who is Robbie Goldstein, you might ask? I think Juice has a photo of him that we can pull up. Yep, that's exactly how I pictured Robbie Goldstein to look when I was reading about him. And he's got a quote in the article. It says, everyday individuals in the Commonwealth, walk into anti-abortion centers, unaware
that
these
facilities, pregnancy crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Anti-abortion centers.
Walk into anti-abortion centers, unaware that these facilities are masquerading as comprehensive medical providers and pose a significant risk to the health and well-being of those seeking help, support, and options. That's what this guy said. Like, how is that even like? I couldn't even cleverly say that. Like I couldn't even say that the way he said that to make it sound like it was like a positive. And then you realize what he's talking about. You're like, dude, are you kidding me? Masquerading as comprehensive medical providers and pose a significant risk to the health and well-being. of those seeking help, support, and options. So he could have got rid of help and support. He's interested in those seeking options, and by options, he means terminating the pregnancy. If they're seeking help, they should go to a pregnancy resource center because they will help you love your baby and provide, information, resources for you to raise that baby. And that leads us to the support part of it. They will support and help support you. The way he's talking about, they're going to help you come into a doctor's office and support you by holding your hand while that baby is terminated and you have to birth a stillborn child. Or, again, if it's not as far along, might not be that, you guys know what I'm saying. No chance this episode stays up there either, huh, Jews, at this point? Okay, so.
What was it? The anti-abortion
centers. Well, Ian, this is another one of my pet peeves. The grown-ass adult professional doctor, commissioner of the Department of Public Health goes by the name Robbie. Like, come on, man. If someone wants to call you Robbie when on your off time, if you're being quoted in a news article, you're being presented on television, no, go be Robert.
Robert Goldstein, killer of babies.
Yeah. Or, help us out and just go by Dick at that point. Oh, that's not the right one, though. That's a Richard.
Richard. Yeah.
Not good.
Richard Goldstein.
But yes, he should just be, whatever. Robbie Goldstein. And he also goes on to say within the article, quote, as a physician, I find this kind of deception and misrepresentation unconscionable. And as commissioner, I feel compelled to push back as hard as possible against these shameful practices and blatant misinformation.
Dude, he's the one who went anti-abortion. He's doing that deceitful, whatever, deceiving practices.
Everything in his statement is deceiving. In my mind, I'm sorry, YouTube. In my mind, he's spreading misinformation about what an abortion is, about what a pregnancy resource center is. And he has the balls to call them shameful? Like, I'm sorry, man. Look in the mirror. And I couldn't help myself but go digging on Mr. Robbie some more, because again, it was like once the thing started for me, I couldn't pull back. So I realized that Robbie ran for a public office here in Massachusetts in 2020, and he wanted to go as a hard left, ultra super progressive. He is a Mr. Goldstein who shacks up with another fella that he calls his husband. Big surprise, surprise. And this is the ad that he ran in 2020 when he wanted people to vote for him. So I think Juice has that for us.
It's time for a new Democrat in Washington. Congressman Stephen Lynch is pro-life. Dr. Robbie Goldstein will lead the fight to protect reproductive rights. Congressman Lynch voted against the Affordable Care Act. Dr. Goldstein champions Medicare for all. Congressman Lynch says we have decades to solve the climate crisis. Robbie will get to work on day one. Stephen Lynch betrayed our democratic values. Dr. Robbie Goldstein will bring change to Washington.
I'm Robbie Goldstein, and I approve this message.
Sums it up like right off the bat. His number one thing, abortion, right? He's a pro-abortionist, plain and simple. And he's like the perfect character of like,
he's an anti-abortion center guy.
Yes. Yeah. Good way to put it. So he's just like, he sums up the way the far left has moved in this country. And I'm so sick of being called a member of the far right. Like, this dude is a member of the far left. And the guy who's in office right now, President Biden, he campaigned and he suckered people into thinking he was a return to normalcy. He was a moderate Democrat, like, like an old school Democrat, like that guy, Stephen Lynch, that Robbie was running against. Just, whatever, normal blue collar, cares about the working class people, but some of this extreme stuff is too much for them. That's how Biden pitched himself, and he's run the office as a complete far left lunatic. And Robbie Goldstein and people like him are egging him on the whole way. I had another article. It's from Tufts, and Robbie went to Tufts at one point, so they did a big puff piece on him, and it just peeled back the curtain into this guy a little bit more for me. And there's a little quote from here that said, Robbie said this, quote, "We have a role to educate the community to know that trans care is life-saving care. Gender affirming care is life-saving care," end quote. So again, it's like, I know that's not exactly on topic with the abortion and the pregnancy resource centers that we're talking about here, but that shows you the mindset this guy has. Everything is a power dynamic. Like
I got a thing about that later. That won't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. So everything in their mind, though, it comes down to like a victimhood mentality, and that's like the way he can't. He's like a successful, hardworking, smart doctor who probably feels guilty about it somehow and wants to one, be accepted because of his own sexual lifestyle and choices that he makes, and then include everyone else who he thinks perceives as a victim, and somehow the world is against that. That's the way these people's minds work. I didn't include it here, but Robbie was also all over the news because he was like one of the first guys that donated blood. I don't remember if it was in the state or federal. I'm not sure if there's a difference on those two things, but that used to be a question. They would ask you if you've had, male on male sex, then that would disqualify you from giving blood because the potential for you to have AIDS, HIV, were that much greater that it wasn't worth taking your blood sample and possibly contaminating somebody with that. He, of course, thought it was against gay people, and they worked to remove that, that qualification. And then he did a puff piece of him giving blood and donating his blood, because now you can't discriminate against people for being LGBTQYX when they give him blood. So it warps this entire guy's worldview, and it seeped into this entire article and shows you who it is that we're really up against. Sorry, Juice. I know I kind of
keeping it tight tonight.
I'm telling you, man, I was fired up reading that. It was hard to read that article.
I was poking around doing a little research on him too. Check on his Instagram or whatever when they got married. Hashtag Robbie and Bobby.
No, it wasn't.
Nah, I just made that up.
Oh,
Imagine Robbie and Bobby 21.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, man. All right. Let's shift gears and slide off of that topic and move it over to something that caught my attention on Facebook. And I won't go into outing anybody personally, naming them. I know, Juice, you're familiar with the person that I saw this on, but great, person, good family, grew up in the same area as us, and just very hardcore union advocate, in the trades, and just constantly posting pro-union stuff, works as a lobbyist, even, I think, like for the pro-union movement, like trying to get people on the side, all of that.
Lobby for Robbie.
Lobby for Robbie. So pull up this, if you don't mind pulling up the image for a sec, Juice. He shared this post, and it really caught my attention about, he was complaining about CEOs and what else is new when it comes to the union voice out there. So it says, General Mills just paid a $300 million dividend to investors, bought back $150 million in stock to enrich execs and investors and pays its CEO $16 million. It makes $2.1 billion a year in profit. It is raising prices on cereals 20% and blaming inflation. And it is a picture of the Cheerios in that image and stuff too. So that's what he posted, and it caught my attention because I feel like a lot of times, like these, especially the pro-union movement like this, they want to play a game with the regular average person, and it's all about the way you can talk to people, right? Like obviously we're trying to communicate here through what we're doing. This guy, he's getting people's attention and he's reaching them by constantly having a boogeyman that he can sell to them. He's constantly gonna blame everything on a CEO. And when they say that, the working stiff, the regular person like us, you get this image in your head of this big bad evil Bond villain CEO in his high rise, curling his mustache, plotting against the world because he's just this big rich guy, or driving around in a Porsche, like whatever, just being rich and obnoxious, out on his yacht all day, like da 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 da. Like you have this image that comes in your head of just like excessive wealth. What are you laughing at? That's not how you picture CEO.
No, I'm just like nothing. Just trying to. I don't know. It's a Porsche. I would think that maybe 16 million might have a couple.
A little bit better than that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. Like,
All
is that
right.
the best car you can name?
Dude, I don't know anything about cars, man.
I don't know anything about those big words in the tweets, though. 300 million, the dividends, bring it back, invest it.
But and again, that's part of it, though, right? That's almost like the similar deception to the Robbie Goldsteins of the world. That he's playing on an image for you, and he's getting that person who is on their hands and knees every day, the plumber under a dirty sink, like working their ass off, coming home and his back's aching and his knees are sore, and being like, oh, this goddamn CEO of the company. Where Joe Schmo plumber over there, he wouldn't have a job to do if the people who hire plumbers to do these big construction jobs, these big things, if they weren't investing in a workforce, we wouldn't have anywhere to work. It's easy to blame a CEO, but at the end of the day, like that guy's working their ass off. We think that they're not doing much. Oh, this guy, like, and sure, is that a crazy amount of money for someone to make? Of course it is. But again, it's like the market. We like free markets, right? A market dictates somebody's worth. If nobody's worth 15 million?
No, I'm not saying anything. I don't know if they're like working their ass off necessarily, but dude, I'm picturing smoking a cigar, lighting it with $100 bill, like, or something.
Yeah.
Driving in his Porsche, like.
Yeah. You're thinking of Leo in The Wolf of Wall Street, like, right? Like that stuff. But it's like, no, dead serious. Like if you are the CEO of a company like General Mills, like, do you realize how many people work under you that they have to manage, they're responsible for, they have to answer to somebody, there's a lot of pressure in a job like that.
They're the first to get fired too.
Absolutely. And it's just an easy thing that like is unrelatable to us. Even if you're not a plumber, you can relate to the plumber. Even if you're not an electrician, you can relate to that. Everybody knows somebody like that. Everybody knows a person like that. I don't know any CEOs. Like, and if I do, I don't think they're CEOs that are making 16 million a year. Like, it might be a smaller scale or something, but I'm sure that person is pretty wealthy and doing all right for themselves. But again, the point though being is that it's a lot of responsibility, and I'm okay with the market dictating what they're worth, because if somebody's willing to pay you for that, like why should the CEO be like, you know what? Somebody else would give me 16 million. I'll stay here at General Mills for a measly 10 million because, that's just what it should be. With that same plumber, with that same electrician, with that same carpenter who's making $70 an hour working on this construction project, would they be like, you know what? $70 an hour is kind of a lot. I'll do it for 50 an hour. No, those same guys, the same guy who shared that Facebook post would be calling him a scab and yelling at him on the out on the sidewalk going into the job if he was willing to do it for a little bit less like that. So I just don't understand how
I get where you're going with this.
what's
now.
good. You know what
Yeah. I'm slow on the uptake. I'm not saying everybody else didn't get it.
No, but I just think it's like a legitimate way to think about it. And again, I've been kind of in that boat too. It's just easy to, you don't put a face to the CEO. You don't put a reality to it. And in all honesty, when we think about this election coming up, I think that the guy who we want to win is a CEO. Like, that's what our president of the United States is. They have so many other people reporting to them. They have all these agencies under them. They have the entire federal government that they are broadly in control of to oversee. And I think Trump that's why he was great at it 4 years ago, because he is a businessman who does run companies and has been in those positions before and knows how to delegate and just make a large organization operate. And the thing that, like, to kind of bring this all together too, the thing that like hammers that home for me is I think the roles have flipped when it comes to Democrat Republican too, from like, back in the day to where we are now. And that image that I said of like what Biden pitched himself as was like the everyday blue collar, like, oh, moderate Joe, like your father's Democratic Party. Those people may have cared about the little guy at one point and may have cared about the regular worker, but I don't think they do anymore. I think they care about the Robbie Goldsteins of the world now. I think they care about keeping those union honchos happy. Again, the guy posting that thing that I shared with you, I don't see him swinging a hammer anymore. He's content being in that spot where he's not on the job site. He's just riling people up, getting them all fired up, right? And he wants to stay in that position of power. He's not there on the site going through, like, coming home with the aching back anymore. He's using his mouth just as much as we are here, yakking. And those people want to control it, want to stay in power. I think the Republicans nowadays care more about the regular average working man. They care about the blue collar stiffs out there in the world. And President Trump proved that when he mentioned something on the campaign trail the other day about what he plans to do day one when he comes in. And I think Juice has this clip.
As part of those tax cuts, I have announced that I will eliminate taxes on tips for restaurant workers and hospitality workers and anyone else relying on tips. No more taxes on tips. No taxes on tips. None. None. In fact, on your receipt, when you get your receipt for a restaurant, you know who sent me one? Kid Rock. How good is Kid Rock? Isn't he great? But he sent me a receipt. And he wrote on the receipt, vote for Trump and you won't pay taxes on tips. He wrote that on the receipt. I said, that's very smart. That's very smart. Smart guy. So for restaurant workers, for hotel workers, for caddies, for car people, it's a lot. But anybody receiving tips, there's no more tax on tips. And I think that's going to be a great thing. They earned it. A lot of people don't get tips. You don't like the service, you don't give them anything, right? You don't like the service, but somebody does a good job, they're supposed to pay tax on it. No, so we're ending that immediately, effective immediately when we get.
Oh, incredible. Me and you, I could see you like behind the screen there. We both lost on the same thing.
Car people.
What is that?
Like his word, like, right? That's his, like,
unbelievable.
Like, hey, just tipping people for service.
Yeah, he's at Mar-a-Lago, right?
Caddies and car services.
People. He's thinking about the valet.
Yeah. Remember, no tips on that. No tips.
Unbelievable. Absolutely no tips at all. We're going to eliminate day one. Day one. It's gone. The caddies.
Car people.
Oh, great. And not to say that I'm a complete like this. I don't want to snowball it and take it off topic because I was in the industry for a long time. To be honest with you, I wish we could be more in the mindset of like just pay these people like a regular wage, and they don't have to rely on us to tip them to make their full money. Like a tip could be more of a extraordinary, like throw a few extra bucks. But the fact of the matter is they're making $3 an hour and just they're busting their ass, man. I agree with them. Like they're not working a corporate job. They're not working even the people in the trades that we touched on that they bust their ass, but they are making a high salary for that. And
Carrying that bag around 18 holes.
Yeah, like come on, man. Let them at least keep the tips like untaxed. So but that speaks to like a normal regular person, right? That shows you that that's a CEO who cares about the regular people. That's
people reported
CEO.
those before.
What's that?
People reported those.
Yeah, a little loosely reported.
Do a little bit on it, right?
Yeah, you gotta do it, son. I mean, I plead the fifth here, but yeah, it is what it is. But that's a guy.
You get audited for the last 20 years
after all the stuff we say on here too. But these dudes, like again, that's a CEO who deferred his salary, right? Did not take a salary for the 4 years he was president here of the United States. And he's talking about letting the American people out there that work the hardest in the lowest kind of paying minimum jobs keep more of their money. That's music to my ears, man. It should be to most people too. And again, like to that person who expects the CEO to not take home 15 million, he should take home less and share it with the rest of the people. This guy didn't take a salary as president, and he's talking about letting you keep more of your taxes out there. Keep more of your own money and not tax it. So, like, did they not see the connection between those two things, or they just want the big bad CEO boogeyman to dangle in front of their union brothers and sisters so that they'll continue to vote for them and keep them in a job that they don't have to go bust their ass every day on their hands and knees swinging a hammer. So, like, I don't know, man. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree.
All right, beautiful. You ready to shift into my man's greats and hates for the week?
Yep, got a couple. Nothing crazy. Got two
awesome.
and two. Gonna start
one and one. One and one.
The 2 and 2 system merge zipper.
Okay. All right.
Actually, let's do that. Let's do a 1 and 1 system. Great.
Okay.
Hate, great. Hate.
All right.
Vibe up. Lead in with the debate coming up June 27th.
Can't wait.
These nitwits, whatever it was, MSNBC saying like the bar for Biden is so much higher than Trump and stuff. You seen this clip before?
No.
Yeah, saying like with Trump, he just has to show up if he's, is he alive? Okay, great. And they're like saying Biden has this set the bar so high for himself. Like,
come on, man.
Like, dude, if he stays on 2 feet on the stage, right, that will be like
Biden has to show up with a pulse, and they'll be like, "Oh, he did great."
Yeah,
like,
but they're saying that about Trump. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what's happening in this clip.
Wow.
So you tell me what you think.
So, I mean, this is all thrown into sharp relief when the two men are on stage debating, right? And it already feels like, the first presidential debate is set for June 27th. It already feels like the bar that is set for Biden to clear is so much substantially higher than the one Trump has to clear, which is literally, is he alive? Is he standing? Are the words coming out of his mouth? Setting aside what the words actually are. And I wonder if there's any way for Biden to overcome what seems like a structural disadvantage on, in the weeks leading up to what's going to be a pretty important inflection point in this campaign.
Yeah, Alex, I think that's an important question. We don't know the answer yet. The challenge with Trump, running against Trump.
Am I missing something there?
It seems like it was like a Freudian slip. Like, right? Like, it's like she said Trump, but like everything she described was about Biden.
Or they just lie that blatantly. Like,
that's insane. And again, to bring it back, like they're gonna censor us. about misinformation, spreading false
He
claims.
set the bar so high, you know.
You know what I thought of while we were watching that too? Like, what are the odds that that lady that they went to hasn't left that bunker since 2020 when COVID hit?
On
She
the
had a
right.
little setup there, the couch,
Double
the
mask.
computer. Yep, that's her spot, man. That's her safety zone.
Hey, do you want to actually meet for a coffee? I feel like we get a little more done face to face. You know, maybe get out. Oh no,
No.
hasn't seen the
She'll
sun.
send
Look at her
one.
complexion. Hasn't seen the sun in like.
Exactly. She'll send a car person to bring her laptop and put it at the coffee shop with the other person and meet them face to face
But
like that.
make sure you tip. I mean, make sure you tax those tips. Don't give them too much.
Oh, it's awesome.
But yeah, like
All right,
I'll give you a great here from. You know, we got in trouble for doing, you know, going against the science and fooling around last week or whatever, 2 weeks ago. So let's bring in an expert, right? See what they have to say.
All
But
right.
this is,
I guess
just
so. We're
put
not
this down
experts.
as
We're not scientists.
let's hear what the College of Pediatrics has to say on the issue of,
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, the issue of should you, what is it? Gender affirming care.
Oh, okay.
Testosterones and all that.
Yeah.
See what see what a medical body.
And they say trust the experts, right?
Trust the science, follow the science. I think they even say it in here.
Okay.
So let's see what they have to say. It's a little long, so maybe I'll cut it off, but you'll get the gist of it.
About the physical and mental health effects of the current protocols promoted for the care of children and adolescents in the United States who express discomfort with their biological sex. This declaration was authored by the American College of Pediatricians, but really it was developed from the expertise of hundreds of doctors, researchers, and other healthcare workers and leaders who, for years, have been sounding the alarm on the harmful protocols that continue to be promoted by the medical organizations in the United States. Despite recent revelations from the leaked WPATH files and the recent release of the final report from the CAS review, these medical organizations have not changed course. So we are calling on these medical organizations of the United States, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Endocrine Society, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry to follow the science and their European colleagues and immediately stop the promotion of social affirmation, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries for children and adolescents who experience distress over their biological sex. In our declaration, we affirm that sex is a dimorphic, innate trait defined in relation to an organism's biological role in reproduction, male and female. This genetic signature is present in every nucleated somatic cell in the body and is not altered by drugs or surgical intervention.
You know, she goes on, that's the science stuff that we can link to that.
Absolutely.
If you want to get the deets about it. But otherwise, she was dropping names. The American Association of Pediatrics, the Endocrine Society. Like, just
she came with the receipts, man.
Yeah. Follow the science, she said, doing their own thing.
Yep.
And like Europe, like, is, you know, liberal on some things usually, you know. But they've been kind of flipping on this.
They really have.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and rightfully
follow,
so. Like
you know, other countries.
We don't need to elaborate because it's obvious. It's so obvious. We all see it. And this lady's just saying the obvious. Like what? It's just,
but you know we could get taken down for saying,
I know, that's why I don't want to say it, but like people are afraid to hurt people's feelings.
Playing a clip. I think that clip came from YouTube. So go after Jill Simmons.
Thank you.
Dr. Jill Simmons, to you.
Dr. Jill. The real Dr. Jill.
Yeah.
She's a real doctor. But I thought she was part of the Dahmer initiative there for a second too, when she first came on. But I digress.
That was from
you know it.
Yeah, I know. The plane crashes.
Yeah, the plane crash lost.
The
Remember that
line?
Mr. Echo clip segment we played?
Oh, yeah, dude, that gave you the chills, right? I have a different belief, brother. or something,
Yeah.
right? Or we were
That's good
debating if
stuff.
he said brother or like something else.
Dude, we got to keep it tight, though, Juice. Tight.
Okay, dude, you just talked for like 40 minutes. All right. Let's hit you with a hate then on that.
Okay.
Same. Staying in that.
Go along with Dr. Goldstein.
Yeah.
Goldberg,
staying in
Robbie.
the month of June. I know it's Juneteenth, and we should be, more focused on that. But June and trans rights are human rights. So let's see what this person has to say here.
The first trans woman to have a successful uterus transplant, ovaries and eggs included, and I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion. I will let a doctor who has successfully transplanted a uterine complex before cut the organs out of a willing, healthy, transmasculine donor, place them in my body. I will devote myself, heart and soul, to their aftercare. I will have as much gay sex as it takes, with as many trans women as it takes, and let the transphobes and homophobes scratch their heads, wondering what to make of it. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
Wow.
I don't know. But we got to affirm that, because that's normal.
What were the words from our boy? Shameful and deceptive, right? What was that? I'm trying to go back to it. Yeah, shameful and blatant misinformation. We want to stop those shameful, blatant misinformation spreaders at the
that other lady
Resource Center.
That lady was saying, "Hey, let's stop promoting this and doing this." But and then on the other side, we're like, "Oh no, we got to affirm this person who wants an ovary implant with the eggs." Exactly. When she's saying trans, whatever, I was getting confused. Where the body parts were. I feel like the body parts were just floating around.
I don't know where they are.
Put them in a bucket, mix it all around.
Crazy.
Have all this sex just to abort the baby. Oh, but this person's totally sane and with it.
Exactly.
This is normal.
That's like hashtag bring back mental institutions. Seriously, show up with the white coat, put them in the straitjacket, get that person out of there, please. Wow.
Just wrap him up in that flag and just that's fine.
Go
carry him out like a rug.
Yep, that's it, man.
But yeah, that was I don't know what to say.
It's horrible. It's ridiculous.
So you want to change your gender, blah blah blah, just to have a baby and then kill the baby?
Yes.
For what?
That's just what, you're proving a point or something. You wanna be like an annoying sibling who's doing the I'm not touching you with your finger right in front of their face. What are you doing? You're a despicable human being if that's your motivation in life. Those are your goals and aspirations. See you later. Ugh. All right. What else we got?
I got one more. I got a great here, and on a high note. High note and a funny note. I mean, we probably played all these individually throughout the last 85 episodes, but Trump new ad just letting Biden bumble around, not have to say anything. Just says timeless Joe Biden quotes or something.
Perfect.
There you go.
I love it.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
She knows so long as she is denied, our freedom can never be secured. We'll never forget lying around and him lying around, actually.
It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Unbelievable. So good.
Well, he's lying around. Well, I'm lying around, and what was that? I never heard that. I don't think we've ever played that one. But
all I think about with that America one-word one is like Jim Carrey and Liar Liar. He's trying to do like the pen. The pen is blue, right?
Yeah,
he's like all
the
stuck.
Pen that I hold in my hand.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Oh, come on. You know the thing. Like he's
saying the saying.
Like it was like this country. What was it? Like it was like
life is like a box of chocolates. You never know.
You know the thing.
You know the saying. You know what they say.
I feel like it was like the beginning of like the Declaration of,
Yeah, we hold these truths to be self-evident.
Yeah, all men are created equal.
You know what they say about the man and the equalness. Come on, Jack.
And the diversity.
They're all included. They're all.
Repeat the line.
Yeah, you're so right too. Like I feel like we really got pretty much every one of those at some point on
Except
this
for
show.
that one about lying down or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know on that one. The dog-faced pony soldiers lying down. Awesome, great job as usual. Don't forget, before we shift gears here and bring this thing home, Rumble, please look us up on Rumble. It's just another video streaming app. It is trying to compete with YouTube, funded by conservative people and people that have been removed from YouTube. Dan Bongino is an investor of it. So I know some people that watch our show like Bongino as well. This is one of his babies because he got removed from YouTube by doing what we're doing right here. So check us out on the Rumble page, Right and Wrong podcast page. Please look us up there. We'll put a link in there. And let's shift gears and bring this thing home with our Come On, Man segment of the day. Now, this is when we find a clip of somebody doing something, saying something so absurd, so ridiculous that even though we're going to make fun of them for a couple minutes here, there's not much else we can say about them except,
come on, man.
Thank you, sir. So we'll go back to the well with this one here and bring in one of our favorite participants in this segment, your vice president. And if you vote for Joe Biden, your future president, Miss Kamala Harris. We like to call her Kamala Lala Ding Dong. Yeah. So she was on stage.
At least we're having fun, right? We might get taken down, but
exactly. That's all I care about, I guess. I hope you guys are having fun too, but we clearly are. So the vice president was on stage the other day and she got asked about the community banks out there in the country. And what transpired from there is right and wrong gold for us, as they say. So let's hear her in her own words, Juice, if you don't mind.
So like you said, Steve, when I was in the United States Senate, I actually was responsible with a group of other senators for getting $12 billion more into our community banks. So the importance of community banks is they are, as they are called, they're in the community, led by members of the community. They are people who understand the capacity of the community, the needs of the community, the culture of the community. They are folks who, unlike the big banks, will see the dream that an individual has for what is possible. And instead of rejecting that dream because maybe it's something they've not heard before, they will listen to it and then give folks advice, including financial literacy advice, helping people know how to run a payroll, how to deal with inventory, in a way that they can start a business and sustain that business and grow that business. So the money that we are putting in community banks is intentional in that it is there that we believe there's going to be the greatest opportunity for folks in the community to actually do the work in entrepreneurship.
10. I got 10. 10 times she dropped the word community in what, a minute, 15 seconds?
And she was rattled off 5 real quick, though.
Oh, yeah, she was hitting them hard early.
Ethics is, well,
it's that clip every time. You said it. You said it to me
cadence
pre-show.
that she does, and it's just insert the word, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of whatever she's talking about.
100%.
Education.
100%.
And dude, do they do that? They're like, she's like, oh, they'll teach you about inventory. Like, dude, they're not professionals in every type of business model. They're not gonna like, they're like, they'll give you loans and maybe you can get a better rate than the big bank or something, you know, a credit union. I think I'm thinking of credit unions. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of too. But like, isn't it the same? Like that
community bank's gonna tell you how to run your business. Keep
no,
inventory.
This is what you want to do for inventory. Like, no.
And she's like, if you come up with this cockamamie idea, they're just going to approve it. Maybe that. Yeah, the big bank shut it down probably because it was a stupid idea.
Exactly. You pitched
So
this idea to them,
and they'll tell you how to keep your inventory. And
yeah, exactly. What we used to do when we were kids, we growing up in the community we grew up in, we used to hang out down the park. Like, we're gonna go to our bank. Oh, you know what? I'm real experienced in hanging at a park. Maybe like
sounds like
can I get funded for like the thing?
Can you work us in? Can you get us worked in?
Yeah, can you work us in, please? Because at the park, there's like a hoop there, there's like a field and swings and stuff. So like, if you invest in our park idea here, we can entrepreneurialize something within that park.
It's a reverse funnel system.
Yeah, and they're gonna oh, okay, great. Yeah, no, I know the park you're talking about. What's that, Garvey Park over there? Yeah,
they got inventory issues.
Awesome. Yep, let's do it. And you know what really stood out? I said this to you when before we jumped on to start, but all the things she's describing that community bank is going to do for the members, like teaching them about payroll, teaching them about inventory, doing all this. Don't you think they would be better served if their teachers at the public school maybe lived within their community and helped build their own community and teach within their own community? But someone like Kamala Harris, along with the teachers' unions, will avoid any mandate for residency within their communities of teaching. So again, to tie it back to our union cronies and stuff too. That's the one thing. My father was a Boston police officer. We know plenty of Boston firefighters. They all have to live in the city of Boston. They need to live in the community that they are policing in. They need to live within the community they are firefighting in.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
They put 10 years on it. They do a cap. So like after 10, you can leave. Teachers, no such requirement, because teachers unions are that strong. They fight that mandate. So you have teachers living in the suburbs, living in these nice areas, 99% white neighborhoods with very minimal crime, and they drive their ass to work to go into an inner city and go try to teach to the kids within that community, and then leave right when the bell rings to go back to their own neighborhood and do that. Like, honestly, like I don't really like residency mandates for any of those types of jobs, but if there was anyone that could use it, how invested would a teacher be if they were teaching within their own community? Like, seriously, I think that would be the number one profession that would benefit.
Keep them honest too. Be like, oh, you were my teacher. Like,
Yeah.
you teach me shit. Now I'm in this job.
Yeah.
Wish you taught me how to do inventory. Or...
Thank you. Thank you. And it's just like, people, kids, like how they act. Like if they saw their teacher out at the store, they're not going to be like goof. They're going to straighten up the way they would when their parent is walking by. Like,
like, if you see these clips now, they beat up their teachers like in the class.
Oh, I know some of them, like the real bad places.
Yeah,
sure. But I don't know. Like I just thought like
it would be better.
Like,
yeah, I mean, it would just.
You're worrying about the wrong thing with the community bank. You don't need your banker to have to live next door to you to give you the stamp of approval for a loan for a shitty business idea that you have. It's crazy. You got anything else to add to that? Awesome. We missed it by just a minute. Tight.
Having me.
At this point. That's awesome. But she'll never cease to amaze us, Kamala Harris. She is the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to the Come On Man segment. But even though we do enjoy it, we do like to poke fun at her. It's scary that person's a heartbeat away from the presidency. So, Miss Kamala Harris, you and your community banks have earned yourself one big, fat, classic.
Come on, man.
And that'll do it for the show tonight. Hopefully this remains up there on YouTube, but I know you guys will all be watching
it early,
on Rumble.
check it quick. Yeah, right and Rumble.
Check it early, check it quick,
right,
and go to Rumble,
like
please.
Rightandrumble.com.
I like that. I like that. Right and Rumble, baby.
And with
so
that
check
being
us out.
said.
And with that being said, yes, sir. Thanks
for
having us.
Me.
The Right and Wrong Show is produced by Juice. Executive producer, Juice. Audio mixer is Juice. Hair by Skull Shavers. Wardrobe and makeup by Ashley Ruka. Right and Wrong song created by Juice. The Right and Wrong Show is copyright 2022 from Brian Ruka.